If you're watching this, you probably always fail to catch meme coin runs. I'm talking 50x's, 100x's, 200x's. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually find them and find them early. And it's not actually how you think. You probably think that you need to find meme coins early before they blow. And the reason why you probably haven't been finding any meme coins is because that's exactly what you think you need to do. And it's not. This is exactly what got me the car that you see in the background here, what got my clients these results that you see on screen, and also what helped me to move to Dubai at the age of 22. So if you go onto my Instagram, you'll actually be able to see a bunch of these results. Just go to these results, you'll see like 300 different results back to back, right? Now, let's get straight into it. First thing you need to understand is phases. I've spoken about this in a recent video before, but I'm going to go over it again because it's so important for you to understand, right? If I go into a coin like the white whale, for example, or I go into a coin like Snowball, I want to show you something, right? I'm going to show you something so clear that I guarantee if you go onto Deck Screener, and the reason I'm using Deck Screener is just because it's simpler to show you, but if you go onto Deck Screener and you put something like, I don't know, 2,400 hours, sorry, not market cap, 2,400 hours, and that's basically coins that have been out for over 100 days, and you put minimum a mil market cap. That means these coins have stayed over a mil market cap, or at least are over a mil market cap even after 100 days of being out, which shows that it's a good coin. What you'll notice is every single coin goes in phases, right? We call it phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Typically, a coin doesn't ever go over phase 3, but I'm going to show you what I mean. So, for example, this coin White Whale, which recently just took off, it did a phase 1, and now it's in a phase 2. To be honest, you could even consider this the phase 2 and this the phase 3, because it did come out a quite long time ago, but it didn't really do anything here. But point is, every single phase does a bigger multiplier than the initial one. And people don't realize it. People think the only way for you to catch these 100x's, 200x's, 300x's is to catch a coin at like 50k market cap. That is not true. That's so false. And people sell you that lie to try and get you into their call group where they're launching coins and trying to use you as exit liquidity. Look at this. With Snowball, for example, initially it did about 1,700%. That was the initial pump from about 59k to 1.1 mil. Obviously, it launched at like 6k, but let's just say you managed to get in right upon migration, right? You would have made like a 17x. Then it flatlined, and this is a very common pattern with phases. It always flatlines for a little bit after the phase. Now, it might flatline for an hour or two. It might flatline for a couple of days. It might even flatline for months or weeks, right? It all depends on the type of coin, and I'm going to show you in this video how you can differentiate it as well, right? Also, just to add, a phase 1 can typically last anywhere from hours to days, barely ever weeks, but like maximum 1 week usually, right? But this phase 1 in particular lasted from 18th December to about the 20th/21st. But now I want to show you something interesting, right? This then ended up going to all-time high, let's just say 11 mil, right? It did obviously touch 12 mil here, but let's just say 11 mil. With this coin in particular, if you caught it when it flatlined, which was what, around 170k, let's just say, you would have made a 60x. A 60x compared to a 17x. This is why you need to be looking at phases, right? I'll show you a different example. Look at this coin. This coin, for example, White Whale. If you got in around the bottom here, let's just say you got in at 75k and you ran with it all the way to 6 mil, you would have made around a 79x, 70x, so on and so forth, right? Let's say now you caught the bottom of the flat line. Let's say you caught it around 600k, right? Oh, I can't even go up. But let's just say you caught it around 600k. You would have made, right, from 600k, it doesn't even let me go to 600k, but you would have made more than 100x. Let's just say you didn't even go to the top. From 460k, let's just say you went to, 50 M's or 37 M's. You would have made an 80x or a 100x. All because you understand phases. And the best part about this is you're a lot safer getting in on a phase 2 than you are on a phase 1. Because a phase 1, there's barely ever any guarantee of where it's going to go, how far it's going to go, or anything like that. With a phase 2, you know the only way is up, because a phase 2 will rarely ever do a decent run like here and then back down. Like it can, but like it's very unlikely if a coin actually breaks the previous all-time high of phase 1. And by the way, that's what triggers a phase 2. So phases happen when the previous all-time high is broken. So as soon as this is broken, right, this is now phase 2. Look how crazy it goes, right? And you'll see this time and time and time again. If I open a coin, for example, let's go and check out, let's check out PopCat, for example, right? This one's extreme, okay? Let's check out PopCat. Let's check out Pippin as well. I'm going to show you a couple examples. Look at this, all right? So PopCat, for example, and obviously I'm going to be on like the 4-hour time frame, daily time frame, just because this coin has been out for extremely long time. So, you know, flat lines might not show as much because, again, we're looking at like their daily time frame. But look at this. Look, proof is in the flipping pudding, bro. Like, I want you to see so clearly the phases, right? Look, phase 1, okay? 12th December to about, again, couple of weeks. Phase 1, right here. But to be honest, as I said, I like to consider phases up until the all-time high is broken. So, as you can see, it literally flatlined. Let me make this a bit more clearer. It flatlined all the way down here. And then what did it do? Went into a phase 2, right? Now, again, if I was to just prove this point to you, let's just say you got this coin low, for example, 600k. You've rid it to like 33 mil, you'd have made a 48x, right? Fair enough. Decent amount of return. However, if you then got into it when it flatlined, what would you have made? Let's just see. All right, flatlined. Oh, where is it? All right, so flatlined here. Let me actually zoom out. All right, one second. Cool. Look at this. This chart went so crazy that I can't even get the full range out of it. You would have made an 80x, right? 80x. Okay. Even crazier if you ended up riding it all the way to the top, which is 2 billion market cap. You would have made a flipping, what is that, 2000x. Bro, I'm telling you, don't fade these phases. Understand that it's all in the phases where people make the most money, all right? I'm telling you because I know this. Most people won't share this with you because they don't want to gatekeep it. Look at this. So, oh my God, it's so obvious. Look at this. Phase 1 right here. Phase 2 right here. Phase 3 happening in real time right here. Look at that. You literally have so many opportunities to make money, and yet you only try and find the new runners. Here you would have only made a 17x, right? Here you would have made a 60x. Here you would have made a flipping, what is that, 12,000%, 10,000%. Bro, I'm telling you, phases. Anyway, let's get straight into how you can actually find these. I'm going to try and make this video quick just so I don't waste too much of your time. But basically, I use Deck Screener for this. Why? Because I'm not in a rush, first of all, because, again, these are coins that I'm going to be holding for maybe days, weeks, maybe even months, but it's because it's going to pay off extremely well, right? And again, this isn't a coin that you need to put in so much into. You can, because at the end of the day, it's a lot safer than getting into like new coins. But the beauty of this is if you put in $1,000 and you hit 100x, you're going to make 100k. If you had to wait a month to 2 months just to make 100k, would you do it? Yes, you would, right? So let me show you. Once I jump on Deck Screener, what I do, let me actually remove some filters, is you're going to be greeted with this screen. This is the trending screen. What I do is I go to filters and then I add a minimum pair age. Minimum pair age, I tend to do it like minimum 1 week. Because as I said, phase 1 usually lasts up to about a week. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It just depends. But I like to do a week. 7 times 24, 168. So you put minimum a week, which is 168. And then max hours, you don't actually have to put something because, again, you don't want to limit yourself. Because as I showed you on some coins like will last for months before they even run, right? Now, market cap is important. Market cap, I would recommend putting at least 500k. Sometimes you can even put 250k. It just depends. But 500k is a good mark because a lot of the time, if a coin hasn't even reached like 500k in its initial phase 1, it's unlikely for it to go into phase 2, but it still can, right? For example, that white whale, it didn't actually pass 500k in its first run, but it still ended up going to like 50 M's. But for the sake of this video, let's just do 500k. You can always test. Max market cap, I tend to put 10 mil, sometimes even 5 mil. Because at the end of the day, there's only so many coins that are going to go from like 10 mil to like, I don't know, 500 mil, which is a 50x. So again, you don't want to expand too far out. But again, you don't want to see a coin that's at like, so you don't want to miss a coin that's at like 6 mil because you put 5. So let's just put 10 mil for now. Apply. That's all you're going to do for now, right? All you're going to do is that for now. Now, you can filter in a couple different ways. One of my favorite ways, first of all, is ranking by 24 hours, trending 24 hours, just to see if there was any significant movement in the past 24 hours. So for example, I can open this now in a new tab, open this in a new tab, open this in a new tab, so on and so forth. And what I would do is I would literally scroll here and just see if there's anything that caught my eye. Or sometimes I'll just literally go through a whole like spree of trying to find a potential phase 2 or phase 3 runner. So I'll literally open every single one and see if anything's potentially going into a phase 2. I will do this every 1 to 3 days. Because the thing is, you don't want to miss out. Because the thing is with these longer term coins is there might be one day where the volume's a bit dry and a one day where the volume's good. And you don't want to miss out by going like weeks or like checking only once a week and then you missed out on a potential phase 2 runner. So I'll do this 1 to 3 days. It takes me like 10-15 minutes and then that's it. And then at least the next day I can keep up with that same coin. So for example, if I was to just go here and I open some random ones, for example, right? Let's just go here. I'm going to open this one, for example. So let's go to the ones we just found. So as you can see here, I will sort it by the daily time frame, sometimes 4 hours, it just depends. All right, this one isn't really going into any phase as of now, right? there's no clear, again, remember, phases are clear. Phases are extremely clear. I'm talking like even this one, I was marking it out because I thought maybe it's going to go into phase 2. But for example, with this coin, this was the phase 1, right? You can still consider this a flat line. Even though it doesn't look like a flat line, because it didn't break all-time high, it is still. Because if I compress this right now, it will turn into a flat line in contrast to what it could potentially do. Let me remove the markings. So for example, as you can see here, if this was to now revive itself and break all-time high, it will then do this, and this will look like a flat line. It doesn't need to actually be a flat line. It just means it's a flat line in comparison to, one, where it went to, which is this, and where it's going to go to. Does it look like a flat line? Yes, okay? And the thing is, the reason why I'm actually marked this is because, as you can see, it was actually bouncing off 2 particular levels, right? These 2 here, 1 mil and about 4 mil, both psychological points. If this ended up breaking, and the reason I actually marked this, I remember now, is if this broke here, I would have actually got in, because that would have confirmed to me that, okay, we're probably going to break all-time high and we're going to run, right? That's why I was marking this. Again, another coin. For example, look at this. This literally did a phase 2 and a phase 3 run, as you can see, right? It did the initial run here, beginning of December. It flatlined. And then what did it do? It went into a phase 2. Phase 2, you could consider this the phase 2, or you could even consider this whole run the phase 2. But I'd probably consider this as the phase 2. And then it did a phase 3 run, which is the one all the way up to here, right? Now, this is why I say to you, you should look at these coins every 1 to 2 days, because imagine you spotted this coin around here, right? On the 7th of December, right? Remember that. 7th of December, you spotted this coin. You didn't decide to get into it because there was no reversal. But let's just say 2 days later, you saw, oh, damn, I marked this chart, and realize I've actually got chart markings because I look at these coins. I marked this chart here, and now it's here. Could this potentially be breaking all-time high and going into phase 3? Yeah, okay, cool. Now imagine the next day you go and check it again and you see, oh damn, it's actually broken all-time high. I'm gonna buy into this coin. Let's just say you ended up buying around here a mil. Bro, you would have made an easy 8x. And this coin probably isn't even done yet, right? This is what I'm talking about. Again, another coin. This one, again, we're on a daily time frame, remember that. So if I go into a 4-hour time frame, for example, even an hourly time frame, it's a lot more clearer that these are phases, right? One sec. So as you can see, this is the phase 1, a lot more clearer. The flat line is a lot more clearer as well, right? As you can see, flat line right here. What does it do? Goes into a phase 2. This is literally, this could actually go into a phase 2 right now. Like if you guys want some free source, some free calls, this is about to go into a phase 2, because as you can see, it's attempting to break all-time high, which is currently the resistance, 3.5 mil. This was the previous all-time high. It's tried to break it multiple times. It's failed to do so. If it can go here and then it can break it, and this turns into the new support, it can go to 10 mil, 20 mil, 30 mil, 40 mil, and it's an evergreen narrative. It's not something like Christmas or anything like that where it's like specific to like a particular season. This can run at any time of the year, right? That's all it is, right? You can literally play around with these, but I'm telling you, if you want to create, and especially you guys that have decent amount of funds, 5k, 10k, 20k, whatever it may be, and you want to make generational flipping wealth, bro, I'm telling you, these are the plays. Because on the low market cap plays, you can't put in 5k, 10k, 20k, so on and so forth. These coins you can. Imagine riding it to, let's just say, 15 M's. Brother, come on now. Listen, click the link in the description. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.